This Champions League Matchday 1 Picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog has a brand new offer for new customers. Play $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with the code PLGP. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, September the 14th. We are here to look back over a Premier League weekend, which finished a couple of hours ago. Before we get stuck into the first week of Champions League fixtures, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So loads of action this week. Joining me from somewhere in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Barry, what's happening?
Evening. All right. Good. Aye. What's happening?
Don't know, Barry. You just mad a few words tonight. It's going to be a fucking long show.
No, it's going to be dead quick. I've got nothing to say.
All right, okay then.
I hope you've got some picks. I haven't even bothered with that.
Well, I did message you earlier on, and I said, I've made 6 picks. And you said, in which case, I'll make 3 or 4. And like, it's almost now at this point, you've just decided that that's what happens. And like, it happened in the Club World Cup. It's like a bit of a thing. And now you've decided you're allowed to do half of the picks. You're going to do 5 Premier League picks.
I'll look at the games, and I'll pick the games I like the look of. But I'm not going to force it. You know what I mean? Like, I've found 4 picks. What more do you need?
Okay, but is it not a coincidence that you've never, ever once liked more picks than I've liked? Is that a coincidence?
I have 10
never come on tonight and said, fucking hell, I like 8 picks tonight.
Every Premier League week, I've got 10. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
I'm the only man on this show who's never missed a Premier League pick in 3 years.
Oh, bollocks, you missed fucking plenty. Contractual. You pulled the ladders up. The ladders up. And
That's right. Baz is ready for bed.
Baz is ready for bed.
I had a late night last night because we had to drive back from Newcastle to be down here for the football this morning. And then early morning this morning, I am absolutely knackered. And then I've got to go all the way to bloody Liverpool tomorrow.
Shut up, man. Joe Dollar's joined us. Fefwef's here. Andy Williams is here. Bob DeVita. O'Vanes. Serial. Yeah, it's busy tonight, isn't it? Who else is here? Going further up now. Callum's joined us. Danny the Mackham, who's not a Mackham, is here as well. So loads of people here. If you are in the chat, by all means, say hello. I've got my picks there. Where do you think my notes are? Yeah, weekend was all right, Baz. The football wasn't hugely exciting, I don't think. There was a couple of decent games. I found myself relieved that Newcastle won. That was nice, because that's the first time this season, so that put us in a little bit of a better spot. If you remember, I did my first commentary. I did my first Premier League commentary yesterday, Barry. Everton versus Aston Villa, which obviously was absolute dog shit. But also, like I feared, the tech didn't work in the first 10 minutes. No, I don't know if anyone listened to it. Hopefully not. Because the first 10 minutes was just a fiasco. The games I've done previously were just on TV, Sky, BBC, all of that, Premier Sports. So I watched them. Yesterday, I had to use some sort of special link thing, and it just wouldn't work for me. So we had a team of experts comprising the IT department and Betty, who was set. We had so many screens going. I was like a Bond villain, like just looking at 15 different screens, trying to get it good. And then the game itself. So we got sorted. So the commentary went all right after that, but it was dog shit. Finished 0-0. What else happened? I watched Liverpool again, Barry. That's 4 times this season I've watched them. I left early at St James's Park a couple of weeks ago to beat the traffic after Bruno scored. I went to the garage today to get some local fruits just as they went into injury time. to beat the crowds. And I watched like the first 85 minutes, the first couple of games. 4 draws for Liverpool, Baz. You'd think they'd really want to improve on that, wouldn't you? Really, been a poor start of the season for Liverpool, so they'll be looking for their first win of the season. But picks-wise, Baz, rubbish again. Well, not rubbish, poor for me. I had a couple of half-decent ones. I've definitely finished behind. I got back to like 6 units. The kick in the stones for me was Chelsea, because that would have got me a little bit closer to SP, but also cost me accumulator. And they should never, ever have been 1-0 down in that game. That makes it hard in the Premier League. And then they managed to get 2-1 up late on and then blobbed it to an offside goal. Why have they not flagged the fucker offside? There's a bloke stood in the middle of the box, 6-yard box, offside, waving his leg around it. And he's just allowed to be offside. Some of the decisions this week, the Tottenham disallowed goal was an absolute fiasco as well. So Chelsea hurt me, but my lock hit Fulham. Like I say, my corned beef pie, Aka went down to that Chelsea late equaliser. Right, but am I allowed to claim, Barry, my anytime goal scorer as Johan Wissa? And on. I did say if Wissa doesn't play, then Big Dick Nick will be the play. So you're shaking your head. I'm not allowed that, no?
Well, I had the same pick, so, if you're claiming it, I'm claiming it.
Yeah,
but,
all right. So
it was
substituted out.
To be
Big
fair,
Dick Nick got the goal.
On Thursday night, we all expected Wissa to play, and we thought Newcastle would get goals, which they didn't get many of. But had we known Wissa was injured, then I think I would have made the Walter pick.
I mean, Newcastle to score in both halves was unfortunate. I don't know how Liverpool didn't cover a handicap today. And I think the only bad pick was Man United. Man United was a terrible pick. In hindsight, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Like, at the time, I was really pleased. I was like, they got a chance here. Arsenal handicap was great. Spurs won very, very easily. And Palace not beating Sunderland was another killer, because the Sunderland goalkeeper made a ton of saves in the second half. You are allowed to make saves. And then Everton as well. So there's a load of teams that just couldn't get it done. Palace couldn't get it done. Everton couldn't quite get it done. So I'd say one bad pick. But yeah, still struggling to get over the line, Baz. I've got no idea how you did.
I've done all right, but more so in the early stages of it. I messaged you. Arsenal win to 0 was my first pick. You had Arsenal both halves, I think. And I messaged you after the lunchtime game saying it was nice to get off to a winning start. A bit of a confidence booster. And then I actually did quite well on the afternoon games. I had the unders in the Everton game. Bournemouth to win, Fulham to win. As I say, I had the Arsenal win to 0. I had the Spurs team total. So I think I had something like 5 winners from the first 6 games. And then that was it. Fizzled out. I can't think who was the tea time game yesterday now. Oh, that was the Spurs one. Palace let me down. And then I totally lost with what games I went, to be honest. But today was rubbish. Liverpool, I thought Liverpool were rubbish. I was obviously really annoyed when they got the penalty late on. I'd actually messaged my brother. I was talking through the game. And I'd messaged my brother.
Did you do it?
I messaged him. No, I called it exactly as it was. I said, what's going to happen here? It was when the red card was given. I says, the red card's being given. You guarantee they're going to get 8 minutes of stoppage time and Salah's going to get a penalty. And then, sure enough, they only got the 5 minutes of stoppage time, but it was all needed. What's that defender doing? I mean, bear in mind, Burnley done it 2 weeks ago against Man United at the same stage, in the same part of the penalty box. It was nigh on identical to the one they gave Man United in the last minute. It was bizarre. Absolutely ridiculous.
Salah was rubbish again. That's what frustrated me. Me and Bob were watching it quite closely. And when it gets to about 20, 25 minutes left, you start like you did when you messaged your brother. We started predicting. I said Salah 86, and he's it's going to be some sort of VAR penalty. Like you start predicting this shit. I said the handicap last week. Factor in the one for luck. As it happens, the one for luck was the only one they got. They didn't get an actual one, which cost us the handicap play. But yeah, God, does it mean they're a really good team, or does it mean they're lucky, or probably a little combination of both, I imagine. But yeah, Burnley gave a good account of themselves. I faded all 3 promoted teams this weekend because who's in the chat there? Lenny. Lenny's joined us. Lenny's saying the 3 promoted teams have made a good fist of it. And you're right, Sunderland were competitive. They could have lost, but the difference is the teams last year weren't competitive. They were getting spanked 5-0 every week. Sunderland are hanging in and got a 0-0. Burnley hung in, nearly got a 0-0. Leeds hung in. Fucking hell. That own goal was absolutely inexplicable. I can't remember seeing an own goal like that, especially 95th minute, literally the last touch of the game. And he's planted a header from 12 yards with no one near him past his own goalkeeper. So a proper kick in the stones for Leeds United as well. However, they couldn't score a goal. They didn't look like scoring, which was part of the handicap there as well. Data Dave got Fulham, by the way, the lucky bastard. So Data Dave as well. And truly, 1.1 units in front, digital watch and all. But yeah, not much in with the way of eye catchers, Baz. We have got a lot of Premier League action to get through. So I'm going to point you towards our
eye catchers. What about Big Ange? How did his first day get up? And not
well, I don't know what he could. I don't know what he's expected to do, because he needs all different players. And you can't just get all different players. You can't put them ones on a bus and say, see you later, and get it a bus full of new ones. Bear in mind, Forest, in the last
35 to choose
have signed all the footballers.
I was going to say, he's got lots
all
to
the
choose from.
footballers have been there. Go on, mate. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying, he's had about 35 players in that squad to choose from.
That's signed enough. He's in the squad. But it was never going to work. I mean, it was a terrible spot for them. It was a really bad spot. He had no time. I can't imagine he even did anything. It'll have been the assistants or whatever who just said, right, go out.
But the other one that caught my eye for a negative reason as well is Villa. Still haven't scored a goal, Villa. 4 games.
Oh, mate.
No goals. And I looked at the stats at half time. I think they'd had 1 shot off target, was the entire first half. I'm not even sure they had a shot on target the whole game.
No, they didn't.
Villa struggling, absolutely struggling, Villa.
Well, obviously, I watched that game. The halftime XG, Everton was 1.11.
Yeah.
Against 0.1 from Villa. Buendia had a deflected effort that went wide in the second half, but Martinez made a very good save from Grealish. He then made a very good save from Michael Keane in the second half. If Beto was in any way not shite, he would have scored. But yeah, if there was only one team going to win it, so I think the pick was correct, but Everton couldn't quite get a goal. And Martinez played well. He's a good keeper. So
there's a couple of mentions in the chat about the cards. My card treble. I had Dewsbury Hall, who I did say was a great price single. You could get 5-1 for him. Some places with Sky Bet, he got his, but I couldn't get the double up. Lukic and Francis has just mentioned, how did Lucas escape the booking? That's twice he's done me this season. He's been booked in every game I haven't taken him. And the 2 games I have, he's committed more fouls than anybody else on the pitch. 5 or 6 fouls again he committed at the weekend and still didn't get booked. And then I'm sort of 1 behind because I took the Burnley lad, the one who got sent off. I had him last week against Man United, and then he gets the 2 today. So yeah, I feel like I'm getting close on the cards. I feel like the right picks, just, you need a little bit of luck with them. As I say, Lukic should have got in, and that would have been a nice double, to be honest, if we've got Lukic and Dewsbury Hall. Kev Matthews messaged me the other day to say I'd missed an opportunity because I took Gibbs White, who didn't get one, Dewsbury Hall, who did. He said I should have had the double-barreled treble, shouldn't I?
Of course, yes.
So Kev had messaged me saying I'd missed a trick by not getting the 3rd double-barreled name in, and then we had a little bit of a chat about who it would have been. Lewis Potter, Smith Rowe, Lewis Skelly were the considerations, but Smith Rowe and Lewis Skelly don't really start. So, but nice Matthews to get in touch.
That would be a nice feature. The double-barreled treble. It's got a nice ring to it, but I'm going to tell you about our new fancy sponsor here that you all need to get involved with. Quick, Metaspin Sports is your destination for crypto sports betting. Sign up today, get a 100% risk-free bet. You'll also receive a $25 bonus on your first deposit. Get started today at metaspins.com/sports. That's metaspins.com/sports. There's a little bit of rumour in the chat about Lamine Yamal being injured. Discomfort in his pubic area. Fair enough. He's 17. Have a tug, Lamine. You'll be all right. Because I saw he was kind of injured, and I mentioned to Bob, because I'm quite looking forward to seeing him. You kind of talk, because obviously we play Barcelona on Thursday, and you want to win, so it's sometimes better when the opposition's best players aren't playing. But equally, you don't get to see Barcelona at home very often, and Bob wants to see Lamine Yamal. So we'll have to keep a close eye on Yamal's pubic area between now and Thursday, Barry. Champions League, 6 games. Tuesday, 6 games. Wednesday, 6 games. Thursday. So loads of stuff. It's not going to be like that every week. We go full Europa League next week, and then the Champions League goes back to Tuesday and Wednesday with 9 games on each night. I'll lead us off, Baz, here, because I've gone for the very first game. I've gone for the early game on the Tuesday, so you can't be in front of that, which is a 7:45 kickoff. That is 12. No, it's not. It's a 5:45 kickoff. 12:45 Eastern time between Athletic Bilbao and Arsenal. Bilbao are 31-10 plus 310. The draw is 12-5 plus 240. And Arsenal are 9-10 minus 111. I just think this suits Arsenal, Baz. Bilbao are fine. They're all right. They've started okay in La Liga. They've won 3 out of 4. But the kind of comp game at the weekend, Bilbao lost 1-0 at home to Alaves. Arsenal went and cruised past Nottingham Forest 3-0. Bilbao's only other home game was a 1-0 home win over Vallecano. So they're not scoring a ton of goals. Arsenal are very capable of defending. We know this. And they looked in good form at the weekend. Gyökeres has been fine. He's not everyone's cup of tea, but he's stood in the middle of the 6-yard box and kicked it in the goal. And there's a lot to be said for that. Eze, Madueke have both looked good as well. All of those have looked a goal threat. Arsenal won 2-1 in Girona last year, which is a fairly decent comp. We did see Bilbao. I think the kind of level Bilbao are at, if you remember, they got duffed up off Man United last year in the Europa League. That insane game. But over the 2 legs, that's the kind of level they're at. And I just think Arsenal have the know-how in this competition particularly. Arsenal are pretty steady in the Champions League group phases. I just think they get this done. They're not going to... They'll restrict Bilbao to 0 or 1. And Arsenal can easily outscore them. So I'm going to take Arsenal at 9-10 minus 111 pass. Might not be pretty. FEFWeb's saying it's going to be a bit stinky, which I agree it might be. But Arsenal goal in each half, win 2-0, maybe 2-1, something like that.
Yeah, I skipped that one. I didn't really fancy anything in it, but I don't mind it. The pick, like. My first one is, you got all the prices in front of you. I've got Juventus v Dortmund, which is on the Tuesday night.
Yeah, so we're into the 8 o'clock kickoffs here. Juventus even money, 5-2 plus 250 the draw. Dortmund 13-5 plus 260, Barry.
Yeah, so Juventus, Dortmund, 2 teams have both got off to a solid start this season. Juventus have won 3 of 3, including a good win this weekend over Inter, 4-3. That one finished. Juve have got 2 clean sheets in their other 2 games. And Dortmund have started with 2 wins and a draw. Full of goals again. Dortmund have scored 8 in their 3 games so far. So I think it'll be a competitive game. Juventus at home, probably rightfully favourites given how they've started the season. And as I say, particularly after that result this weekend. But I do think Dortmund can cause them problems. They've got enough in attack to be able to do so. And as I say, they've scored 8 goals already. They've had an XG of over 6 and had 21 shots on target in their first 3 games this season. I think this one looks tougher up against Juventus, but I'm going to take them at least for a goal here. Juventus haven't played out a 4-3 this weekend in what's been the toughest game so far. Suggest to me Dortmund can get involved and get in amongst the goals. I like the both teams to score at 7-10. You could just take that as a pick. It's a little bit short, so I'm going to tag on the over 2.5. I think this one might be quite an open game. I think it could be quite an entertaining one, Juventus v Dortmund. And I'll take the over 2.5 and both teams to score at 11-10.
Okay, we've got a little player prop here. Fefwef's been deep in it, as the children might say. Ben Sabani, yellow card, and 2+ fouls, the Dortmund fullback. Lenny said the Juve game was a good watch at the weekend. Harry does not want us to do the Chelsea game, but we are going to. I've got Chelsea coming up Tuesday. Yeah, we're going to carry on with Tuesday at 8 o'clock, Barry. I have gone for Benfica against Karabag game. Benfica 1-5, -500. 6-1 the draw. Karabag are at 12-1. Huge gap here in Champions League pedigree. Benfica's domestic form is fine, as you'd expect. We always say the Portuguese domestic form. It's hard to look at, really. They've got 10 points out of 12. But they were lively enough in the Club World Cup in the summer against decent opposition. And they scored goals in the Champions League last year. If you remember the mad 5-4 game against Barcelona, they scored 4 against Atletico Madrid. They scored 3 twice against Monaco, 2 against Juve. And Karabag from Azerbaijan, they've actually won quite a few games to reach this point, so they've done well. They beat Shelbourne of Ireland. They beat Skendia, the Albanians. And in the last round, they squeezed past Ferencvaros of Hungary. And even in the last game, they lost the second leg 3-2 at home. So I just think Benfica can run some goals up here, Baz. The Benfica team total over 2.5 is 5-6, -120.
Like it. Love a team total pick. Next up for me, I'm delving into Wednesday, so I don't know if you've got anything else on Tuesday, have you?
I don't know, Barry. Hang on.
You don't know?
No, I haven't. You
Right.
go to Wednesday.
We'll venture over to Wednesday. Now, I've got PSG v Atalanta. Have you got the prices there in front of you for that?
Fucking hell, Barry.
This is just your job, isn't it?
Put me. No, I know. I'm not sure it is. No, it never used to be. You know what I mean? Like 3 times. Like you start saying things, I put yourself on mute so I can start finding other stuff to do. PSG. Oh, I don't know what the price is. Around about -210. 11-25. That kind of price. PSG 15-4 +375. The draw is that price. Atalanta are 17-4 +475.
Yeah, so PSG v Atlanta. PSG started the domestic season well, 4 wins from 4. Nothing hugely unexpected there. Business as usual for them in the domestic league. It's what we see most of the time. Atlanta have also had a decent start. They're unbeaten in 3, but they have won only 1 of the 3. And they have conceded in every game and not really been tested yet against one of the stronger sides in Italy. I was drawn to it because I mean, PSG are a short enough price. They're around 1-2, as you've just mentioned. I thought they'd be a bit shorter, though, at home to Atalanta, who aren't, the premium pick, the premium side from Italy. I expected PSG would be a bit shorter, about 1-3 or something like that. And at 1-2, or close enough to 1-2, I didn't think it was particularly prohibitive to sort of finding a bet around PSG. Now, PSG obviously started this competition slowly last year, didn't get off to a great start and had to win on the last day to qualify before they then went and hit full stride in the knockouts. And I think there is a danger, as we know, it is a step up for PSG from what they're facing domestically. So, danger they might start slowly again. But PSG have won 10 of their last 11 games at home, and the one defeat they had at home was against Nice when the French league was already wrapped up, so I wasn't too worried about that. And 6 of those 10 wins at home have come by a 2 or more margin. And that's where I've ended up here. I think PSG will have enough to beat Atlanta, and I think they can do so on the handicap. I'm taking PSG here. -1.5 on the handicap. Decent plus money price. 5-4 for PSG, -1.5.
Okay, thank you very much, Barry. We are brought to you by mybookie.ag, your place to bet on football and everything else. The prop builder is second to none. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code PLGP for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag, promo code PLGP. P and Rhythm are back for NFL. We could do with some help with our NFL bets, Barry. They've been shite. Over-unders, ATS, player props. Rhythm was nailing everything last season. You can hit the top of the leaderboard and win $1,000 for tracking your bets on there. Get your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. I've got the early kickoff again on Wednesday, the 5:45 game. I've picked all the big hitters. After Karabag, we're going to Olympiakos against Paphos here. Paphos of Cyprus. Olympiakos 11-25, -227. 31-10 the draw, +310. Paphos 13-2, +650. Olympiakos 3 for 3 domestically by an aggregate score of 9-0. If you do want to bet these Greek teams in the Champions League, it's got to be when they're at home. They've won over half of their Champions League home matches. They've got a 26-23 record at home in the Champions League, but only won 10 of 49 on the road. Paphos, similar to Karabag, have done well to qualify. They beat Crvena Zvezda, they beat Dynamo Kiev, and they beat Maccabi Tel Aviv last in the first round. Not full of goals. In the league at the weekend, they lost 1-0 at home to Apollon Limassol. They beat Apoel Nicosia 1-0 the time before that. I think Olympiakos have got enough know-how to keep them out here. I just think they're going to keep them at arm's length. I think Olympiakos could win this to 0 at a price of 5-4, +125, Barry.
Nice. Yeah, that one didn't make my list. I think I am still on Wednesday, though. I've got the Liverpool game next.
Okay. Go on then.
Where are we? Yeah, Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Liverpool are 3-5, Malcolm, which is -160. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 31-10 the draw, +310. And Atletico Madrid 17-4, +425. I think that'll be. I mean, I came to the Liverpool game because I've watched them again today, not look particularly good. And I just felt like at these prices, there's got to be a temptation to go against Liverpool. And it might be foolish, given that they've won 4 out of 4 games so far. But based on what we've seen, they haven't been playing great. Salah's nowhere near the levels he was at last season. Well, he's quite close to the level he was at towards the end of last season, because he didn't finish the season very strongly either. As soon as he got that contract, he seems to have gone off the rails a little. Wirtz hasn't settled in yet. Defensively, they were vulnerable in a couple of games. Obviously, I said before this weekend, I didn't think Burnley would trouble them massively on that front. And although they've come up smelling the roses with all the late winners and stuff, you have to think they're going to drop some points somewhere soon, because the performances haven't been brilliant. And if the performances remain the same, someone will capitalise on it and someone will take something off them. Atletico are a decent side, capable of doing that. Though their form to start the season hasn't been great. They have only won 1 of their 4 in La Liga. But this one for me is just purely based on the value here. Atletico are nearly 9-2 in this one, which means I'm getting 13-10 +130, good plus money price on the double chance. I mean, you made a joke about Liverpool, having 4 draws after 85 minutes of every game. So there's every reason to think Atletico could get a draw here. Liverpool have relied on a 95th minute penalty today, a 100th minute winner against 10-man Newcastle, 88th minute winner against Bournemouth. Atletico to get a draw isn't beyond the realms of possibility. I want to fade Liverpool because I don't think they've been very good. I think someone will punish them soon enough. Atletico could do it, and at 13-10, I think they're worth a go. So I'm going to take Atletico on the double chance at 13-10.
Yeah, it makes sense, Baz, because the temptations there, obviously, they made a deal with the devil, which makes it hard to fade. And also, Atletico, I watched them a couple of weeks ago. I did the Alaves game, Baz, and they're not in a great place, Atletico. There's a little bit of unrest with them and the supporters there as well. But at some point, you'd have thought Liverpool's form will catch them out. Barry, is that time of the night where the nation clamours for us to play 2 more cards in kick-off midway through the first half. Barry leads 1-0 nothing. Alessandro Alberino with a 22nd minute strike. The ball currently, for those keeping track meticulously, is in the blue half in C4. My cards are shite, Barry. I'm just going to jettison a shit card here and hope it doesn't cost me too much. I'm going to play this fucker. I'm going 5 sideways, like up into the middle of the pitch, and then 3 forwards. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. So over to the edge of your penalty area in square F9, Baz. I'm going square F9. Ball out wide there to Gianfranco Thompson for me, Barry. And what would you like to reply? I'll tell you, just by the way, readers, Barry's not really, he claims he hasn't been enjoying this very much. But before the show started, Barry said to me, I've only got 7 cards. I should have 8. So I had to go upstairs and wake up my teenage daughter. She was thrilled. And get her to WhatsApp Barry his new card. So he is into it. And if he tells you any different, he's lying. Baz, what's the riposte?
The riposte is a very simple one. I'm just going to take it forward 5.
Can I see the card, please?
Fucking hell. I think I'm cheating.
Right, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up to the halfway line, Barry. So we on still in your half, in the blue half. We are on A9. Riesling there on halfway. He's seen quite a lot of the ball, Riesling, hasn't he? Recently. So there you go. I hope you all enjoyed that. More to follow. Next game I'm going to do Chelsea now. Harry didn't want us. I don't know why Harry didn't want us to, because I'm really quite keen on factoring Chelsea into this. This is 8 o'clock on Wednesday. Bayern Munich 13-20, minus 153. Burlington Bertie 100-30, the draw plus 333. And Chelsea 15-4, plus 375. Bayern's just the same old shit, isn't it? The same old silliness, uncompetitive domestic silliness. They won 6-0 against Leipzig at home. Yesterday, they won 5-0 against Hamburg. So that's 2 home league games, 11 goals. They're just flat track bullies. Harry Kane joins in when they go 3-0 up, and he scores a penalty and a header from 2 yards out every week. Last year, they do like beating up bad teams. That's one of their calling cards. They beat Zagreb 9-2. They beat Shakhtar 5-1. But then they play a half-decent team, quarter-final. They lost at home 2-1 to Inter. And I don't mind Chelsea like. They haven't played in the Champions League for a couple of years, but they have been keeping the senses sharp in the couple of lesser competitions. And we saw them in the Club World Cup. They got several competitive comparison Club World Cup games under the belt, none more so than when they absolutely duffed up PSG in the final. Now, the safest bet for me is both teams to score over 2.5 because it looks wide open. Chelsea at the weekend should have won comfortably. How they found themselves 1-0 down, I don't know. And then having gone 2-1 up, why they blobbed it, I don't know. BTTS and over 2.5 is 5-6, minus 120. But if I was looking to give out a dog on this card, this could easily be it, Baz. I wouldn't put you off Chelsea at all.
Yeah, see, I thought Brentford were good value for the draw. I thought Brentford would have been unlucky to have lost that game to Chelsea. I didn't think Chelsea were that good. I haven't been impressed with Chelsea all season, to be honest. Okay. But there we go. Differing opinions on that one. And probably part of the reason why I dodged it entirely, because I don't know what to make of Chelsea still. Anyway, moving on. I've got a Thursday game now. I've got Eintracht Frankfurt v Galatasaray. Eintracht Frankfurt favourites 21-20 plus 105, 27-10 the draw plus 270, and 23-10 for Galatasaray plus 230. And Eintracht Frankfurt suffered a defeat this weekend to Leverkusen on Friday night, but they'd started brightly prior to that. They'd won 3 in a row and scored 12 goals in the process. One of them was a cup game where they were playing lesser opposition. But that defeat to Leverkusen was the first defeat since losing to Spurs in Europe back in April. So they'd been in good form at the end of last season. They'd started this year in good form. Galatasaray, similar domestically, Galatasaray are 100% to start the season. But I still think you can take Galatasaray on here because they just don't travel well in Europe. I think we talked about this last year. Turkish sides don't tend to travel well, and Galatasaray in particularly. Bearing in mind they played in both the Champions League qualifiers and then into the Europa League. They never won a single game away from home in Europe last season. They got knocked out the Champions League qualifiers, losing to Young Boys. They lost home and away to Young Boys. In the Europa League, although they qualified from the group, they never won an away game. They drew 3, lost 1. And then when they got to the knockout stages, they were well beaten away from home against AZ Alkmaar, who aren't exactly at the top level of European football. And I just think with that sort of form, you've got to take Galatasaray on. I think Frankfurt are good enough and will be good enough at home. The pick I actually wanted to go for was the Frankfurt team total. Frankfurt to get a couple of goals, but it's a bit short. 8-11, maybe one for the Aggers. So I just end up with Frankfurt to win. I think Frankfurt can win this at home, 21-10. So yeah, Eintracht Frankfurt to beat Galatasaray at 21-20. Sorry, 21-20 is the pick.
Yeah, I think you're right to fade the Turks on the road, similar to Olympiacos and the Greek. It's kind of a well-known thing. Only thing that would mitigate me was Eintracht against Tottenham last year. Just weren't in that fucking caliber. Like, might have just been a bad day for them. So yeah. Next up is for me Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Barry, Newcastle United will take on Barcelona. 21-10 plus 210. Newcastle 27-10 plus 270. The door. Barcelona are 11-10. Up anyhow, shithouse Champions League mags. The only comparison game I could find here was Newcastle's 3-2 win over Barcelona in 1997 with a Faustino Asprilla hat-trick. So I can't really say a reason why that wouldn't happen again. My pick is Newcastle to win at 21-10, but also going to go with Big Dick Nick. 13-2 to score first plus 650. 12-1 to score 2 or more. 66-1 for a Big Dick hat-trick pass.
Nice. Is that it?
Yeah.
Have you got any other picks?
Oh, I've got one more pick,
Well, you've got one more pick. We've done all right here because you've picked 6. I've picked 4. And we haven't had one single game where we've both made a pick.
Scoring.
So we've ended up with 10. We've covered 10 of the games, which isn't bad. I'm done, so it's over to you again.
Manchester City, Thursday night, 7-10, minus 142. Draw is 3-1. And their opponents are Napoli, who are 15-4, plus 375.
I'm interested to see where you go here, because I nearly made a pick, and I got halfway through my notes, and then I bottled it, and I moved away.
No, you should have stuck with it, because Man City form is questionable. They were better today. They were undeniably better today. But you've got to factor in the opposition, man. Man United was shit again. And by the way, Man United played today like what they are now, like a middle of the road, a middle of the table Premier League team. If that had been Brentford, who'd gone to Man City, lost 3-0, made a few chances, like the keeper's made some good saves. Donnarumma made one really good save from Kinder and Buemo in the second half. Man United weren't absolutely horrible, but Man United got no midfielders. They can't defend. They spent all the money on fucking forwards for some odd reason. So it was quite a straightforward win for Man City. But they had lost 2 of the first 3. They lost at home to Tottenham. They lost away at Brighton. And Napoli are a completely different kettle of fish to Manchester United. 3 league wins from 3 in Italy. Aggregate score of 6-1. Italian champions. They won the league last year. I love the double chance market. I love Napoli to not get beat here at 11-10. But I did mention if Chelsea was an underdog, I could play it. I could easily play Napoli. That Man City result today shouldn't change anything. I faded them against Man United because I thought the form was dodgy. By the way, quite a few storylines running through this one. Kevin De Bruyne is back. We see Rasmus Højlund starting for Napoli. Scored, by the way, on his debut.
I know.
Couldn't get a tune out of him at all.
As soon as you get out of Old Trafford, everyone's rejuvenated when they get out of that place.
And, of course, Scott McTominay. Does Billy Gilmore play for them? Did I imagine that as well? So yeah, there's quite a few Man City and Man United threads running through this. But fucking hell, man. Napoli, like if this was another team name, Juventus, Inter Milan, another Italian team. I don't think they'd be this price. Yeah, I've got to factor Napoli in. 11 to 10 if you want the safety net on the double chance. Cormac Gillespie likes that, same as me. Or if you're feeling a bit fruity bars, Napoli at 7 to 2.
Yeah, I was going to go with City. And it was probably because I was looking at it shortly after today. And then I deleted my notes halfway through because I thought the same thing about sort of, it was only Man United. And Napoli have obviously started the season very well. But initially, I don't know, I do think, I didn't want to take Napoli. You know what I think caught my eye today is Donnarumma is a much better keeper than James Trafford.
Oh, yeah.
And they would absolutely have more.
It going in the goal, Baz. When he went near the goal, right, he stopped it from going in the goal.
Yeah.
Which was fucking revolutionary for me.
It struck me. I mean, we saw Donnarumma last season, how influential he was for PSG. I mean, the fact that Man City have been able to pick him up, I think could make a big difference. I think it could be a big thing. As I say, I didn't get to a pick in this game, but yeah, I was trying to make a case for Man City, and I didn't get there simply because you don't want to get too clouded by a win over Man United. We didn't talk enough about Man United, to be honest. But it's the same thing.
What is there to say?
The only thing that crossed my mind was because I still laugh at the fact after week one getting beat 1-0 at Arsenal, they were absolutely over the moon with that. Weren't
they could beat any team in the country.
That was the point where they could beat anyone
except Fulham, Arsenal,
Grimsby.
Man City, Grimsby,
yeah,
or Burnley. They can't beat Burnley.
They beat Burnley.
So they can beat any team in the country that's called Burnley.
But it's got very much. I mean, you'll remember around this stage of last season was where I put up Ten Hag at a ridiculously stupid price of 16 to 1 or something to be the next manager to get sacked. And it's got that same feel of they've trusted Amorim over the summer, but he's not going to get this full season of this shite. If it carries on much longer, he's going to come under pressure pretty quickly, I think. And to be honest, you listen to him sometimes and he sounds like he doesn't want to be there anyway. It's got all the same feel of where Ten Hag was last year, where it was just trotting out the same shit every week and the same excuses every week. And eventually it gets a bit boring. I mean, I don't.
You know what I didn't like today, right? And this is not in any way a hard-hitting analysis, Barry. I didn't like how he was fucking dressed. If that was my manager and they'd been dog shit for that, he didn't look like he was at work. That's what I thought. Do you know what I mean? I know the modern world's fucking changed, but if you're a football manager, you got two options: wear the club shop, Tony Pulis style, or put a fucking whistle on. He had I went out the pub on Friday. I went down to all the Ponzi bars in Gateshead under the arches, and I had a pair of brown cords on, a shirt, and a blue bomber jacket. You know me, Barry. One of me 3 outfits that I've worn since 1997, because that's what men do. And that's what he just looked like. He wasn't at work. I thought, if I'm sitting in the dressing room and he fucking comes booling in, I'm like, mate, put a jacket on or a polo, or you scruffy twat. I'm not having that, Barry. I thought it was absolutely fucking terrible. Any thoughts?
No, valid point. Very valid.
Perfectly valid point. Barry, I really need to read these adverts out because I forgot. And the people who go furious, our Yankee overlords. Underdog is your place to play fantasy pick'em. You can win up to 500 times your entry. Pick high or lower on your favourite player's stats. Underdog has got a brand new offer for new customers. Play $5, get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with the code PLGP. And we're brought to you by Novig, America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig's an exchange, you're getting some of the best prices in the market. Novig is available in over 35 states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with a Novig promo code SGPN. I've got Barry in 85 to 1 ACCA as well. I'm going to throw out.
Nice.
5 of the 6 English teams are going to win. I'm taking out Manchester City. So we're going Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham, all to win. 85 to 1. That's my patriotic fucking Tommy Robinson march down the thing, fucking smash up a Chinese restaurant. 85 to 1 ACCA for this week. And I think that's all my football stuff to be telling you about. You got anything?
Sounds like you've got some non-football stuff there.
What do you mean?
Well, just the way you said that's all of your football stuff done.
Oh, right. No, so, well,
Sounded like you had other stuff.
no. Well, I've got one thing, Barry. How many inquiries, how many entries into the what was I dehydrating competition was there, Barry? To the nearest 100.
And never saw any.
Did you not get the postcards? And I bet they'll turn up tomorrow. We'll finish this off, and the postman will turn up with all those postcards tomorrow.
I mean,
So the answer, Barry.
I would guess some.
Yeah.
There's got to have been some citrus fruit involved, so lemons and limes must be included.
Incorrect, Barry. I dehydrated some chilies. I've got a little they're called prairie chilies. Little prairie chili plant lives out the back. And you get these little they're like little bullets, little purple chilies. Really nice flavour. Sort of native to like central USA. Prairie chilies, past the clues in the name. So obviously the air fryer's got the old dehydration setting on. So you whack them in there for 6 hours and they came out lovely. And I goosed them up and I've now got chili flakes. But the other thing, if you're very familiar with your medieval herbs, Barry, is I had a great big lovage plant. Are you aware of lovage? Do you use much lovage?
I don't think I've ever used lovage in anything now.
I never wanted any, but whenever I drive past Cowles, very occasionally they've got the free stuff outside, stuff they're going to throw out the garden centre. They just put it on a big trolley. And I reckon about 30% of my garden, which is stunning, by the way, is free stuff I've picked up from Cowles and resurrected. And one day it was a lovage plant, so I didn't want it, but I picked it up because it was free and I stuck it in the ground. And it was absolutely huge. To the point it was in the way. So I Googled what to do with it last week. I chopped it down. I dehydrated it, Barry, and then mash up. And you kind of use it as like a substitute for parsley. So it's a really old, like I say, it's a medieval herb. You could whack it in a soup. If you're making maybe a winter soup, Baz, you can use it fresh. But I've got a nice big pot. It's a beautiful colour. The house was stinking. Kids weren't very impressed at all. But yeah, a big thing of lovage. So the answers were prairie chilies, Barry, and lovage. So if anyone guessed those two things, we'll send you a £10 record voucher in the post. I don't think I've got anything else to say at all now, Barry.
We had birthday celebrations this weekend. It was my mother's 70th on Friday.
Oh, it was. You went out for dinner, didn't you?
I was saying. So yeah, we were up in Geisha in Benton yesterday. I had a nice meal. It was good in there. And then it was Sophie's birthday today. And can you believe this? Sophie wanted to go out for a curry tonight.
Yeah.
She wasn't happy with the takeaway. She wanted to go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
And I didn't fancy it. I didn't want to go. So I didn't go.
Did you not go?
So the three people in the house
didn't
went
go to your daughter's birthday meal because you couldn't be asked.
Stayed in.
Fucking hell,
I didn't fancy a curry, and
it's not for you.
Well, I know that, but she was
How
fine.
old was she today? 13, 12?
13, aye.
13. Oh, wow. So she's turned a teenager, and you could. That is absolutely appalling, Barry. It's one thing not making any Club World Cup picks. It's another thing making half the picks that I make, doing half the work. Not going to your own daughter's 13th birthday is outrageous.
It wasn't a party or anything, was it? It was just. I've spent the full day with her today. I bought her presents. We went out for a meal last night, although that wasn't for her birthday.
No, it wasn't for her birthday.
I said, so do you care if I go? And she was like, no. Which, and let's be honest, she wouldn't have cared. But the funny thing coming out of it. So anyway, I didn't go to my daughter's 13th birthday Indian meal.
Horrific.
Because, it is what it is. Anyway, she come back tonight. The Indian bloke in the thing, he must have realised it was her birthday. So he said, is it your birthday? She said, yeah. So he puts a box of after 8 dinner mints on the table.
Oh, nice.
To which she takes it after dinner minute. And he said, no, take the box. So she's come home with a full box of after 8 dinner mints.
I love an after 8, Baz.
She doesn't like mint, so not really ideal. Nobody here really likes the old minty chocolate. I don't mind them, but I'm on a diet on it, so I'm not going to sit and eat
the thing is, Barry, that fella in the restaurant has done more for your daughter on her birthday than you have. Do you know what I mean? You've sat in the house. At least he's given her some 1970s inspired fucking chocolates.
Yeah, I mean, I did feel a little bit bad as they went out, but no, I don't think any of them missed me there, to be honest.
Absolutely outrageous.
It's bad.
Danny, not the Mackham, is
See, Bob, there's a point. Bob's got a very valid point in the comments. He says, to be fair,
okay.
didn't get me a Father's Day card or a Father's Day gift. So it's probably a little bit of payback. But
tit for tat.
I wish I'd remembered that earlier today, Bob, to be honest. I should have pulled that one out.
Go and wake her up, Baz. I've woken my daughter up to send you a fucking kickoff card via WhatsApp. So you go and wake yours up and tell her that it wasn't for a Father's Day gift. That is good memory from Bob. Extra show credit for you, Bob. 3 show points onto your total. Danny's asking for a predict addict update league table. So Cameron Burke, overall, Cameron Burke is broken away from the pack. It's really tight. The scoring system means it's quite tight everywhere. Cameron Burke's gone 5 points clear at the top, which is outrageous. From, by the way, Bob Bamford in second place. So I'm getting roundly done by my own son. The game week 4 was Ryan Evans, 12 points, 2 correct results, 6 correct outcomes. Bob DeVita, who is...
Bob's there.
Have another show point, Bob. You finished second this week.
Yeah,
and
Joe
then
Dollar's
the overall leader, Cameron Burke, tied with Joe Dollar in third place. You were tied for 5th, Barry. Harry's in there with you. Callum tied 6th. Danny is tied 6th there as well. I was, that's a long way to scroll down, tied 8th. 5 right, 5 wrong. So there you go.
I've somehow managed to pick. I've got more correct outcomes than anybody, but failed to get a correct result, which is why I've struggled a little. 8 correct outcomes. How did I only pick 5 winners this week, Malcolm? I've got 8 correct outcomes on Predict Addict. Shocking.
Nah, don't ask me. Don't argue with the numbers, though, Baz. It's all there in green and white. Right, okay. Shall we go away?
Yeah, I'm done now.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes to midnight. We'll watch the end of this NFL. Right, thank you, everyone. The chat was funny tonight. You all make me giggle a lot. Enjoy the Champions League. I don't know when we're going to do the show because obviously Thursday I'm going to the match, so we'll see about that. But we'll have that chat off air for once. Thanks, Barry. Thanks, everybody. Good luck with your Champions League picks. Enjoy it. We will see you all down the road. Cheers.